content featured on the Taylor Show is intended for entertainment purposes only. All stories discussed herein are based on alleged events and personal opinions. Nothing shared should be taken as fact or professional advice. Any viewpoints expressed are solely those of host and do not represent any business or organizations.
Hello, and welcome back to the Taylor Show, the show where we say everything 3 times until it makes sense. And today we're going to be doing a lot of that. We're going to be saying things 3 times, 4 times, 5 times until they make sense. And I'm so excited for today's guest. We have Sheila Milan here, and she is a menopause expert. She is the owner of Pause It, and we're going to talk today about menopause, obviously, and it seems like it's like such a well-kept secret. Like, we don't talk about this. Women don't have these open conversations, so that's what we're having right here today. Give it up for my friend Sheila.
Hi. Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Oh my gosh, this is going to be one of those eye-opening conversations.
I think so, especially for you, because you're not even in that space yet. You're not thinking about it. It's not,
Yeah. But now I am. Now I'm like consistently thinking about it. So a little background for my listeners. You guys all know I went to an all-girls high school. Like, I've always been very like female focused and female empowered. I had no idea how big menopause was going to be in my life until I started talking to my mom, friends. I joined a menopause workout class because I was like, I should like get motivated and like get ready for this phase of life, but I didn't know anything about it. So I want to change that stigma. I want my listeners, my little gremlins, to come out of this conversation feeling empowered and like they have information and not they're scared of this like random thing that we're saying menopause and it's like so scary. So
yeah, and it is scary. And I think it's scary because I know it was scary for me. I never heard, I knew what menopause was, but I didn't know what perimenopause was. So I want to start there.
Yeah, let's start there.
Because perimenopause are all the years of changes and hormonal fluctuations and things that are happening to our body leading up to menopause. Menopause is one day.
It's one day?
It's one day. It's when you have reached that time in your life where you have not had a period for 12 consecutive months. Wow. That's your menopause. Then you're postmenopause.
Wow.
So anything leading up to that is considered perimenopause.
Okay.
And so I talk to my girlfriends, people in my circles, and we had not heard about perimenopause probably until the last like 5 years. Wow. Had no idea what it was, that it was a thing. And I now that there's social media and there are a lot more doctors out there and everybody's got their thing that they're talking about as far as hormones, no hormones, whatever, we're starting to hear more about it. But yeah, perimenopause is the thing that we need to start thinking about earlier.
So menopause is only one day.
One day.
That's such a powerful statement to even begin with, because coming into this conversation, I thought it was like years. So the years before, that's perimenopause.
Years before is perimenopause.
How do you know when you're going through perimenopause?
So that's a lot of what we're going to talk about today.
Okay, yeah.
That is a lot of what we're going to talk about today. All those early signs and symptoms and, just the biggest thing is, and I think it's now characterized as something that doctors are looking to listen for, is when a woman comes in and says, I just don't feel like myself.
I just don't feel like myself.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's start here. Why do you think menopause is such a silent, scary topic? Like, why do you think we stray away from talking about this?
I don't know, because I think men still have such an influence over what is talked about,
1,000%.
and they think that everything that has to do with women and their bodies in a cycle or is gross, and we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to hear about it. Keep it quiet. But I think the other thing is it's changing.
Yeah.
But our grandmothers, our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, they were always just probably told, it's part of aging. This is how you're going to feel when you get old.
Yep.
I know that in research and reading that I've done in like the super, olden day medical books, when women go through that change, they're characterized as crazy. They are characterized as no longer women. They're characterized as no longer beautiful.
Oh my
Once
God.
you're beyond childbearing years in, old-timey days, you're done.
Wow.
You're no longer relevant.
So you're just discarded as a woman because you can't
Pretty much.
carry children anymore. You're not of
Pretty
use to
much.
society. So why?
I think in medicine.
Yeah.
But in traditional life, we rely on grandmothers.
Yeah.
We rely on grandmothers to help raise our children. We rely on grandmothers to be that fun source of education for our kids. I don't know. It shouldn't be taboo. I think it's that wave is changing. We're moving into a different era, especially with social media.
Yeah. And you're helping move us into that era.
I'm
for
trying.
sure. You're the first person that I've come across locally, nationally, internationally, and like I know a lot of people, I'm a lot of places, that has been so open about this topic. And like when we jumped on a call just to break the fourth wall, like after our first conversation, I was like, Sheila's my friend. And like I'm going to be calling her with any like ailments I have, or if I feel like I'm being crazy, or like when I go into this stage of life, like I feel like you're crafting this to be, okay, I'm your menopause bestie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm your menopause mom. I'm the girl that you can talk to.
Yeah, I want to be that person that people can call and talk to. And when I first started doing this, it was purely selfish. I was trying to figure out things for myself. But then I'm like, if I'm feeling this way, other people must be feeling this way.
Totally. And you have a daughter, right?
I have a daughter.
So you're doing this a lot for your daughter too, I assume.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And she's looking at me and I know she knows. She's like, oh, I get everything from you, Mom. So yeah, thanks a lot. But
yeah, that's how I've been with my mom with my periods. I'm like, I have the worst periods ever, and this is your fault, Mom.
Yeah.
It's all your fault.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think education and having a little bit of background going into it helps a lot too.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. I had no idea. So when we start talking about, get deeper into the conversation about perimenopause symptoms and when they can start and what they start with, when you know that there's a chance that this is what it is, it's kind of like, okay, I'm not crazy.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with me. This is something that I'm going to get through, just like PMS, just like postpartum, just like all the things that women go through.
Yeah.
We'll get through it. Wow. It's just a matter of knowing what to expect.
Is this, and this is a personal question, but in your experience, has menopause, perimenopause been worse than postpartum, than PMS, than those things?
I think it's going to be different for everybody.
Sure.
So very, very personally, I don't remember having super bad PMS.
Okay.
I did have a pretty bad postpartum.
Okay.
And I can think back to then, like how much those hormonal fluctuations affected me mentally. And so it's really no surprise that now once I've entered perimenopause and I'm getting closer to menopause, that those hormonal fluctuations affected me the way that they did.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's powerful to hear too, because not a lot of people talk about postpartum as well.
No,
like it's becoming more and more present. Like in reality TV and shows I watch, you'll hear women mention it, but not to the extent of, X amount of women do go through this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I wish that a doctor had said to me, like, it looks like you're struggling. It looks like you could use some help. And no one ever did.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to get like all.
No, I know. It's like, it's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, and women swallow it all, and we're afraid to talk about it because we're supposed to be strong, and it's embarrassing, and, I feel weak. I feel like something's wrong with me.
Yeah.
And there isn't anything wrong.
No.
Yeah.
And that's what I want everyone to take out of this.
Yeah,
if they don't take
absolutely.
anything else out of this interview, it's that there's nothing wrong with you.
1,000%.
Let's get into the perimenopause. The perimenopause.
I wish it was Mary.
Yeah, right? The perimenopause of it all. What age should women look towards, or like, is there a certain marker where like, okay, maybe this is something that I could consider that is affecting how I feel? When is that like a possibility?
Okay. So hold on.
Okay.
Strap in. Can happen in your mid-30s.
Whoa. Okay.
Early 40s. It's going to be different for everyone. I know for me, it was early 40s.
Okay.
And I'm 56 now.
Okay.
And I'm not officially menopausal. So I haven't hit that one day.
You look amazing, by the way. I just want to say.
Thanks. Thanks. So I'm still technically in perimenopause.
Okay.
I would say probably the last 5 or 6 years have been the most up and down. But I've also handled it better because I knew what it was.
Right.
In my early 40s, I had no idea what was going on with me, and I felt all those things. I'm crazy. What's wrong with me? There's no reason for me to feel this way. And then some of the other symptoms that were happening, I'd go to doctor after doctor after doctor, and no one ever mentioned perimenopause to me.
Wow. What did they say? It's just anxiety?
So I'm going to say one of my earliest things was skin changes. I started getting psoriasis on my elbows, down my arms. I'd never had skin issues ever in my life. And so I thought, am I all of a sudden allergic to something? What's happening with me? Went to a dermatologist. We did all the testing. Oh, you're allergic to this, this, and this. Well, I eat those things every single day. How can I be allergic to it?
Yeah.
And those skin rashes went away almost as fast as they came on. But they lasted, I want to say, for a good period of time. You're asking me to think 16 years back. But they lasted for a while.
Wow.
And they still tend to come and go. But I really think that they were hormonally related.
Wow.
And then early symptoms are just all of a sudden having anxiety that you've never had before. Being worried about things that you never worried about before, having irrational thoughts that you never had before.
Wow.
One of my sisters and I have 2 sisters. One of my sisters and I both have a similar anxiety about driving. Mm-hmm. And I went through a period of time where I couldn't drive over bridges.
Wow. Yeah, that's extreme.
I had been starting to feel a little anxious about driving over bridges and even riding in the car going over bridges, and I wasn't really sure like where this was coming from, and I kept pushing it down and saying, this is stupid, like nothing's going to happen. And I was driving my daughter to a swim meet, and we were going over the Delaware Bay Bridge, the 4-mile bridge, the really super high one.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I was white knuckling. I was like tunnel vision. I had been trying to watch the truck in front of me because I started to feel panicky.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the truck was gone, and I was trying to listen to the music, and I couldn't hear the music anymore.
Oh my God.
And had my daughter not been in the car with me, I probably would have stopped in the middle of the bridge and asked for somebody else to drive me.
Wow.
And that came out of nowhere. And then for years, I couldn't drive over bridges.
Wow.
Yeah. And now it's gone.
Just as quick as it came on.
Now it's gone.
And did you talk to a doctor about that when that happened?
I didn't.
Because you wouldn't think
you feel
to.
crazy.
Yeah, because you wouldn't think to bring that up with a practitioner.
What am I going to say?
I'm scared of bridges. Can you fix me? Yeah, exactly.
And I hear that it's, driving on highways, driving through tunnels, and it's it's a shift that happens.
Wow.
And I got a little validation about that's exactly what it was, because I had been asked to participate in this research study and answer all these questions. And one of the questions was anxiety, driving over bridges, driving through tunnels, driving on highways. And I was like, wow, mother effer.
Yeah. Something clicked. You're like,
yes.
Okay.
Finally.
Yeah.
Like I can feel like, yes, that's what it was. I've been saying that it had but I had no idea what it was coming from.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think I might have skipped over this in the beginning, but if you want to give my listeners a little bit of background of like your occupation, like how you got so knowledgeable on what you are talking about now.
Yeah. So I have been a teacher my whole life. I started out in childcare back when I was 15 years old, and that was just the path that I took. I was an elementary school teacher. After I had my kids, I took some time off, and then I became an adjunct instructor at a community college.
Love it.
What else have I done? I became a group fitness instructor for a little while. And then I took a job with a company that educated patients. And I was like, oh my God, I love this, educating patients, because I think that we would be so much healthier as a country if we had some kind of understanding of what's happening in our bodies.
Yeah.
So then I started doing my own, it kind of turned into I needed to research for myself what was going on with my body. In my early 50s, I was having irregular periods. I had blood work done. I'd had an ultrasound done. I'd had a uterine biopsy.
Oof.
Don't recommend. And
Painful is what I hear. I've researched
and I've had
that,
three of them.
Oh my God. And you've had a child.
Because
You're superwoman. You're superwoman is what I'm hearing.
I had two children, but but perimenopause wasn't coming up and there wasn't really any explanation because everything, blood work was always coming back normal. Your uterine biopsy is coming back great. There's nothing wrong with you. Everything looks fine. You're just having a hormonal miscommunication.
Yeah, like what does that mean? Okay.
Yep. What does that mean?
Yeah. How do I fix it?
Yeah.
And then there's no answer.
So then I was offered at one point, and I think even before that conversation, I had been offered testosterone. And I'm like, why do I need testosterone? Really not very much explanation given. Okay. So then time passes and I have my first uterine biopsy and everything's fine, but I'm having, my cycle is all over the place and I'm uncomfortable and I'm not sleeping and this and that. I was offered progesterone, but nobody told me why I was taking progesterone. And for me especially, and maybe not everybody is like this, but for me especially, I need to know the why.
Yeah.
I need to know you're handing me a drug. You're not really telling me what it's for. And the first thing that happened when I started taking it was I gained 5 pounds. Well, I'm a person who has been on a diet since she was 10 years old. I, fight tooth and nail to lose a couple of pounds. I'm not going to go on a medication that's going to make me gain 5 pounds.
When you already don't feel like yourself.
When I already don't feel like myself. So I started doing a lot more research and I started diving into what was going on with me. And then through that research, I came across a course to become a certified perimenopause and menopause coach. So I'm like, yeah, this sounds like it's up my alley and I'm going to learn something. And as I did that, I'm like, I think there is a space for me somewhere to help women, to talk about this and to help women, to educate women, to lead them into this time in our lives better prepared for what's happening or what could happen.
Yeah.
And not everybody goes through it the same way. I have girlfriends that say that they never felt a thing.
Wow. Bitches. No, I'm just kidding. Bitches.
I love you, but
but I'm so jealous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and now I think your background as an educator too.
I think so too.
Really just propelled you into this.
Absolutely. It just seemed like a natural path for me to take. And once I realized that there was so much that I didn't know, I just thought, well, I need to start sharing this with everyone.
Yeah. So when did you, after taking the class and getting your certification, when did you decide to start Pause It? Was it immediate?
Pausing it was born out of, I think I needed something to occupy my time and something to do with all this information that I had. And so, it's kind of gone through a couple of iterations, as far as what I thought was going to happen. I mean, honestly, I thought women were going to be like pounding down my door but I think women prefer to stay at home and listen and try to get their information in the background.
It's true, yeah.
Which is unfortunate because I'm not making a big business out of this.
Right.
But what I need women to understand is that hormone therapy is not a magic pill. It's not magic. It's not going to fix everything. And there's a lot that goes into it that I can help with. Yeah. But, even if nobody knocks on my door, I'm going to keep going out there and I'm going to keep talking about it because it is important to me to help, everyone, women and the people that they love them kind of understand what's happening.
Yeah. I'm going to get misty because it touches such a close part of my heart. And I feel like a lot of my listeners' hearts too, because everyone's a child of a mother. Like everybody has a mother. Yeah. You have a grandmother. You have women in your life that are older than you that you really respect and you admire. And not being able to identify with what they're going through. One, that just sucks because then they're alone on an island, but also the lack of education around it is just so prominent.
Because if you see, like, you know, your mom saying or doing something irrational or having this like episode of rage or, you know, getting super weepy over nothing, being tired all the time, all those things, you're just chalking it up to, oh, she must just be getting older.
Right. That's just such a common, that's just how she is now.
That's just how she is now. And it doesn't have to be that way at all.
I love that. I love that you're saying it doesn't have to be that way.
It does not have to be that way.
And you talk about the rage portion. So this show is very female rage based. And so we identify female rage here as speaking as loud as men and not apologizing for it. But it does take on a different set of definitions when we talk about female rage and menopause.
Right.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So there are a couple of doctors out there in the social media space that talk about perimenopause as the zone of chaos. Ooh. And so what happens with your typical menstrual cycle is that your hormones are going up and down at this very predictable 28 to 30 day schedule. And when perimenopause starts, then those hormones are doing this.
Okay.
And your brain, can I curse?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. Your brain is saying, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Your brain is sending signals down to your ovaries saying, do all the same things that we've been doing for the past 20 years. And your hormones are saying, nope, not so much, because, you know, estrogen has left the building, progesterone has left the building. Oh, now we're back. Oop, now we're back. And everything's all over the place. Yeah. And that rage, estrogen affects every single part of your body.
Really?
Head to toe. You have estrogen receptors in every single part of your body. And progesterone has a calming effect. And when progesterone leaves the building, we're no longer calm.
Oh my gosh.
We're no longer tolerating things that maybe we used to tolerate. Or we're no longer handling stress the way we used to handle stress. And for many women that are going through this, they're in this time of their lives where their children are older, probably teenagers, maybe a little bit older. Now we're starting to take care of our parents. They could be, you know, in the prime of their careers. And then all of a sudden they're thinking about quitting their jobs because it's too much.
Right.
It's too much to take care of my kids and take care of my parents and take care of myself and take care of my husband. And we're just not handling things the way taking care of ourselves during this period of time is like a full-time job in and of itself.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Wow. So I've done some TikTok research on this, as one does.
Yes,
prepping.
Of course
so
you did.
I type in menopause in my little search bar, and I saw there's a couple pages. There's not a lot out there, even on TikTok, where you think I would be able to get hundreds of thousands of videos of women talking about this. It's scarce. It's few and far between. But something that I did notice that came up in the videos I saw was some women have immense brain fog, and then some women say that they have immense clarity, that somehow they feel like they just see everything for what it is. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So, yeah, the brain fog I definitely can relate to. I mean, the amount of times that I lose words in the middle of a sentence is crazy. And I feel it all the time, and I feel like, you know, oh, she sounded like an idiot because she started talking and then she can't remember her words. And it's a thing.
You're so articulate, by the way. Like, I have not gotten that once, but I understand.
I woke up really, really stressed about it. I'm like, is this going to be one of those days where I can't even remember the word cat?
Oh, my gosh.
But yeah. So brain fog, and then just not feeling really super disorganized, not being able to complete tasks. And, you know, I've been doing a lot of reading lately because I'm wondering if it's one of my issues is this late age diagnosed ADHD, because I can't keep myself focused. You know, I'll be doing one thing and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I need to do something else. And then I can't remember what I was doing, and I'm all over the place. The clarity, I would love to have the clarity. I would love to have that. But I have heard it.
Okay.
And I have heard for some women that it's after they start hormone therapy.
Oh, okay.
Menopausal hormone therapy. And I do want to talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So that's Okay, let me get my terms right. So HRT is hormone replacement therapy.
So that is one of the things that people are trying to cross off the list because we're not
Really?
trying to replace hormones.
Oh, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah, we're
okay.
not trying to replace anything. Yes, are our hormones going away? Are they dipping? Are they erratic? All those things, absolutely. But what we're trying to do is give you just enough to make you feel normal again, to be able to help you with your daily functions, so that it's not impacting your life, it's not impacting your sleep, it's not impacting your relationships, all those things. So I think the term that's getting thrown out there now and more people are shifting to is menopausal hormone therapy.
Okay.
So specifically for those women that during this period of our lives, we are being really impacted, our daily lives are being impacted. We want to kind of bring us back to a space where we can function.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we're not trying to replace it.
Yeah.
We're just trying to. It's the same as like if your hormone was or if your thyroid wasn't working great, you'd get some kind of medication for your thyroid. I'm going to forget all the other hormones that are floating around in your body, but there are lots of things. If your pituitary gland wasn't working, so if something wasn't working in your body, they'd give you something to kind of help that out, give it a boost. And so I think that that's what's happening with menopausal hormone therapy.
Wow. So that's one method that women can go down to. I don't want to say cure. I feel like cure is such a strong word because you don't need to be cured of menopause.
No, we don't. Yeah, we don't need to be cured.
Yeah.
We just need a little boost.
A little boost, yes. So what are the other paths that women can go down? Say the menopause hormone therapy isn't working. That's not for them. What else can they do?
So if it's not working or you're not a good candidate, which that's a whole nother conversation that I think that we could have because there are a lot of people that think that they aren't candidates because there's a lot of scary information out there. I think that you probably are, and you just need to find the right provider and the provider that is well-versed in your situation, your background. So let's say you can't use menopausal hormone therapy, though. Lifestyle changes. And none of this is new and none of this is like earth-shattering. You want to work on nutrition. You want to work on your sleep. You want to work on your exercise, specifically strength training.
Okay.
As I know, as I've gotten older, I can no longer handle high-intensity workouts.
Okay.
To the point where a few years ago, every time I was working out and my heart rate would get like above 163, I was throwing up.
Wow.
And I didn't know what, because that came kind of out of nowhere as well.
Yeah, because you were doing it
and I wasn't
frequently.
recovering.
Wow.
Like later in the day, and I'm lucky enough to be home, but later in the day, I couldn't function.
Wow.
I was taking naps for like 2 or 3 hours, trying to recover from a workout that was supposed to be good for me.
Wow.
And so I have now found that just working on strength training for me, for the long term, is where I need to be.
Interesting.
Plus, I just want to be able to pick myself up off the floor if I fall.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, like basic things.
The longevity thing.
Yeah.
When I'm 85 years old, I want to be able to get up out of a chair by myself. I don't want assistance. I want to still
100%.
be able to move around the house. I want to still be able to walk upstairs. I want to be able to do all those things.
Yeah. I actually ran into a woman at the airport naturally, as one does, last weekend. And she was 96 years old. And she tapped me on my shoulder and she said, "I'm so sorry. I'm 96 years old and I can't figure out how to work this damn iPhone. My daughter's trying to pick me up." So I'm calling her daughter and I'm like, "Hey, I have your mom. Just, taking care of this woman's mother." And I said, "Girl, you look great. Like, I wouldn't have guessed that you were 96. How do you stay getting on a plane from Florida to Philadelphia at the Philadelphia airport?" She said, "Movement." She said, "Don't sit and just sit." She's like, "I golf every week." And I was like, "You golf every week?" And she was like, "Yeah. And I might not make all 18 holes, but I get out there and I do something."
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And that's huge. And I think social engagement, too. For women who are still working, find people outside of your workspace.
Oh, okay.
Because it's just a completely different feeling that you get when you get to talk to people who you don't see every day, all day long.
Yeah.
I am an empty nester now. And the first couple of years were great. And then it kind of, and maybe it was just perimenopause stuff settling, but I started to feel like really lonely at home. And my husband is a wonderful man, but I'm just kind of, and then I started to feel like I was isolating myself and I didn't want to go out anymore. And I was making excuses not to go out. And I've forced myself out of that, and I've joined some women's clubs, leadership things, going to luncheons, going to dinners, and it's been a really transformative thing for me.
Wow.
It's been really, really great for my mental health. You need to find something outside of the house, outside of your work, outside of your daily routine that's different. And the golfing every week, or bowling, or mahjong, or whatever it might be, going and doing crafts, you've got to find a social circle.
Wow. And I do want to say, for anyone that is going through this right now, and maybe you know someone, it's your mom or it's your friend, this is why Sheila's here. This is what she does. So if you're scared to go out, if you're nervous and you're like, I just don't think I connect with society in the way that I used to, you do virtual appointments, right?
I would absolutely do a virtual appointment.
Amazing.
And let's talk about it and release that stigma, release how you're feeling. And I do really think that women feel alone. They feel alone in how they're feeling. They think that they're the only ones.
Right.
And the other thing that I wanted to talk about too is, for a lot of women, they're no longer comfortable in their own skin.
We had a couple questions about that.
Okay.
So yes, I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. I know that I've talked to women who have put on 20, 30 pounds during this phase of their life, and this is the heaviest that they've ever been, barring, having a baby or whatever, but they're just like, and they're mad, they're upset about it, they're grieving the body that they had, they don't feel comfortable, it's probably impacting their relationships, and it's through no fault of their own. I'm not doing anything different, and I'm going to the gym 5 times a week, and I'm trying this diet, and I'm trying that diet, and in my opinion, and just knowing from what I've gone through, we make it too complicated.
Okay.
Eat healthy food. Mediterranean diet is something that's really, really highly recommended.
Oh, okay.
Mediterranean diet, stay active, and the activity doesn't have to be high intensity.
Right.
It can be walking. Get out there and walk and get some fresh air.
Yeah.
A few years, something that I incorporated for myself that I feel a difference when I don't do it is, the first thing I do when I get up in the morning is I grab my water, not my coffee, my water, and I go outside. And it doesn't matter how stinking cold it is. If I have to bundle up, and I go outside and I drink my water and I get some morning sun.
Interesting.
And sometimes I'm out there for 5 minutes. Sometimes I'm out there for 15. Sometimes I find myself and I don't take my phone.
That's an important distinction. No phone.
No phones. Okay. Do not take your phone with you. Just you, and just if you want to set some intentions. I don't get too woo-woo about it because I'm not a woo-woo person. I'm not great at meditating or anything like that. I just really enjoy sitting outside in the morning. There's just something that's so peaceful, and it helps me get through the day.
And I think that is like a form of meditation. My sister is a holistic doctor.
Oh, okay.
So she's all into the woo-woo shit. And we love her for it.
Well, but I love woo-woo. I'm just not, and
it's not for me. Yeah, I can't sit and just meditate and think about that, because then I'm going to think about all the awful things that I'm trying not to think about.
And I think that's part of it, though.
Right, yeah. I think that's probably part of it, yeah. I've yet to have her on the podcast, so we'll get there.
Oh, my gosh.
I know, she's a hard guest to book,
Oh,
The younger sisters, they're
busy.
They're busy, they're cooler than you, they're saying terms that you don't know, and you're like, I learned what mogging was the other day. Do you know what that is?
What is it?
Mogging.
No.
So mogging is like when you're flexing in front of the camera.
Oh.
And that's a new term. I had no idea.
I don't gaff about that.
Oh, I like it. Ooh. Sheila is a permanent fixture on this podcast now. She's never going anywhere. Now, can I ask you some listener questions that we had?
Absolutely. Yes, please.
Okay. So I took notes, Gremlins, because you guys have been very active on socials with this topic, which I didn't expect there to be so much interest, but I think because it's anonymous. And so we can have these open conversations. Okay. So the notes I took is so I don't forget any of these words. Okay. I've been going through menopause for 3 years now, and nothing has lessened up. So I think they mean perimenopause.
Probably.
Going through perimenopause for 3 years and nothing has lessened up. Does it ever? For background, I've been on HRT. I've used oral patch creams. Nothing seems to work.
I wish I knew how old this person was, and I wish I knew whether and not that they were actually in perimenopause or menopause. So what I will say is she could be postmenopausal for 3 years.
Okay.
And those symptoms sometimes start to go away after, from what I understand, 5 years.
Okay.
And then go away and you're clear and you're free and you're good. For other women, it lasts forever. What I would say to that listener is we need to start working on some lifestyle things.
Okay.
We need to start adding in some other things. If you feel like your menopausal hormone therapy is not working for you or not working the way that you think it should be working, I mean, feel free to reach out. Let's talk about the levels. I'm not an expert, but I'm an expert enough to know, I could tell you what questions you should be asking your doctors and what blood work you should be asking for, those kinds of things. It's blood work and it's symptoms. It should never just be one or the other.
Interesting.
We've got to look at everything.
Yeah.
Because you also, what if it's not perimenopause or menopause? What if it's something else?
That's true. And I guess it's not that it's a scapegoat thing to say from a practitioner, but it can be.
I mean, my husband has said to me, he's like, Sheila, you can't blame everything on perimenopause. And I'm like, I think I can.
You're like, last time I checked, you didn't have 2 children. And also, you're not going through all of this. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think I can.
I think you can too. I would be using it for everything. Oh my God. Okay, so what can you truly do if you can't tolerate progesterone?
So there are some other drugs out there that you can take. I'm going to forget what they are, and I'm not a provider, but you can certainly ask your provider because there are other things. It depends on what you're taking the progesterone for. Mm-hmm. So if it's mainly for sleep, then we've got to talk about reasons why you're not sleeping. You have to dive a little bit deeper into what's your sleep hygiene like.
Right.
What are you doing before bed? How are you getting what's your nighttime ritual? Those kinds of things. And I know that sounds woo-woo, but it does matter.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that progesterone was used to help you sleep.
Absolutely. I take it every single night, 200 milligrams. Won't live without it. And I will say that different formulations work differently for different people. So I had one provider that had me on compounded progesterone, which means that it's made in a compounding pharmacy. And not to get too deep in the weeds on this, but the FDA approved progesterone that you get at your pharmacy, your regular pharmacy, does have something in it. I think I don't know if it's made with a nut oil or a peanut oil or something like that. Oh, wow. But there's something in that progesterone that if you are allergic to nuts, you cannot take that.
My sister has a nut allergy. So this is very, okay.
So, I mean, it would be important for her provider to know that. And hopefully her provider knows that those progesterones that are FDA approved. So then in that case, you would go to a compounding pharmacy, and a compounding pharmacy would make that progesterone without any of the nut contaminants in it. I don't have a nut allergy, but I switched from compounded progesterone to the FDA approved progesterone, and I noticed a difference in my sleep. I wasn't sleeping anymore.
Wow.
For weeks. And I'm like, what the F is going on? So I went back to my provider and I said, can we go back to the compounding pharmacy? That's out of pocket. It's not covered by your insurance.
Of course it's not. Because it's women's health. Of course not. Yeah.
So your progesterone that you get that's FDA approved and you're getting that from your regular pharmacy, that's usually covered. I think I pay $5 for that. But your compounded progesterone is not.
So this leads into another listener question. Can I trust LifeMed? Is it LifeMed that's the compound pharmacy, right? Or am I confusing
I think they do pellets.
Okay. And we don't have a sponsorship with LifeMed, so you can shit talk them if you want.
I don't want to shit talk them. I think that anybody who is in the pellet space, there's a reason why they're in the pellet space, and it's making a lot more money than traditional.
What are pellets, if you don't mind me asking?
Pellets are they're the teeny tiny little, and I do use testosterone pellets.
Okay.
Because I was finding that every other form of testosterone that I tried was not making a difference for me at all.
Okay.
I do use testosterone pellets.
Okay.
They also have estrogen pellets.
Okay.
I did not care for those. I've
it.
tested it all. I've been the road test dummy for every hormone that's out there because I feel like then it gives me a little bit more that I can say about it, at least from a personal experience.
How it impacted you, yeah.
As far as Life Med goes, I don't know. I've never been to them, but I will say I think that they do pellets. I think they do injections. I know that there's a lot of people out there that are super happy with that. But what I would caveat is with those drugs, because they're not the bioidentical like some of the other hormone therapy is. And when I say bioidentical, I mean that it's as close as you can get to the actual hormones that we're actually producing in our body. Wow. You're not getting some of the other benefits. We're starting to find that there are cardiovascular, cognitive, I have to look at my notes. There are a lot of other benefits to the traditional getting estrogen, estradiol, estriol. There's several different kinds. Progesterone. There's a difference between, I'm going to get so deep here that I'm going to confuse people. There's a difference between progesterone and progestogens.
Okay.
And so, like, when you think about the hormones that are, let's say, in birth control pills, those are progestogens. Those are not body identical. They are synthetic. And and your hormones that you're getting in birth control pills, not that they're a bad thing, but when everybody worries about blood clots and side effects and things like that, birth control is going to give you more of that than the very, very low dose of hormones that you're getting on hormone therapy.
Wow. Wow, that's eye-opening.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot more side effects and a lot more risks on birth control.
That's something, like, personally that I've thought about because I don't tolerate birth control pills very well. So I went the IUD route because less hormones and things like that. And then doing research into menopause and stuff, I'm like, am I fucked? Am I truly screwed? Like,
No.
Okay.
No, and by the time you go through it, there'll be probably 100 other options.
Right.
And the one thing that I want people to recognize about, all this information that's floating around out there, and then you'll have, I've had women who've said to me, well, it's not FDA approved. This isn't FDA approved, or this isn't this, or this isn't. It takes our healthcare system anywhere between 17 and 25 years to go from a study or clinical observations or any of those things for it to actually be written into traditional medical care.
17 years is like the minimum?
17 to 25 years, I think, is the range.
Oh my God.
So I'm not willing to wait for 17 to 25 years for somebody to tell me that a testosterone pellet is okay.
Yeah. Wow.
I feel better taking one or having one. And that's the route that I choose because the gels, the creams, the other things didn't work for me.
Wow.
Life Med, I think, does injections.
Okay.
And they do peptide injections as well.
What is a peptide injection?
So, well, any of your hormones can be peptides, but then they're going to also, they might add in things like B12.
Okay.
There's other ones that, I think there's one that's called NAD+.
I want to talk about that.
I don't know a lot about it, but I can try.
So we had a listener question. She struggled with weight gain going through perimenopause, and her Botox doctor, so her med spa, so it's recommended the skinny shot, so an NAD plus shot. Have you heard of this? Is this something that like some girls that go to you have experimented with, or?
I have heard of it. I don't have anybody that I know that's come to me but I have talked to people who have tried it and been successful with it.
Okay.
I don't know a lot about it. I know that there are other routes. I know that there are other supplements that you can take that have NAD or NAC in them, that you don't have to go to the injection route.
That's an interesting perspective. I haven't heard that. Okay.
Yeah. So, but
everyone's into the skinny shot these days.
Everyone's into the skinny shot. Oh, everybody's into anything that they can find.
Oh, yeah. That's very true. Very true.
That makes it easy. And you know what? I get that, but you also want to think about your health long term too.
Totally.
And you just need to go back to the foundational basics. Your nutrition, taking care of yourself, strength training, getting sleep. Sleep, I protect at all costs. Sleep is the most important thing to me.
It's the most important thing to me too. So that's that being jeopardized would be top of mind.
Right.
But especially if, as you said, you have a home, you have a husband, you have kids, you have a job, you have work, and then not sleeping on top of that, and you're expected to go through life normally.
Right.
Anybody would be going crazy.
And then you're just trying to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And if you don't get a good night's sleep, you don't feel like getting up and going to the gym in the morning. And you don't feel like getting up and making a healthy breakfast. You feel like grabbing the first thing that you see.
Yeah.
All those thoughts go out the window when you haven't slept well. And that also, can impact our rage.
Leads me to another question. This one is the funniest one we've gotten, and it is, why do I hate my husband?
Well, there could be a lot of reasons.
There could be a lot of reasons for this.
There could be a lot of reasons, but yeah, it's a real thing. I mean, meno divorce is a real thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Meno rage, meno divorce, it's a real thing.
Let's talk about it. Okay.
So I think that women start to go through this transition and we start saying to ourselves, enough is enough. I'm over it. I'm done tolerating whatever I've been tolerating.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying that this person's husband is a bad, like I said before, my husband's wonderful. I can't stand to listen to him chew or breathe.
I get that. Yeah.
Get away from me. So I don't know, but there's something about how we just don't want to tolerate it anymore. We don't want to expose ourselves to anything that makes us feel uncomfortable anymore. Wow. We're done with that.
And I feel like that's a lesson that all women can kind of take underneath their wing after this episode of you are empowered and you're an individual. Stand up for yourself, be strong. Yeah. And not just waiting till menopause to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And just know that it's going to come a lot easier in menopause, though.
Yeah.
I do think about the Karen videos that I see and these poor women who are lashing out. And I'm like, they're going through something right now.
That's a great perspective.
I mean, that rage is an indication of something.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, unless they've just always been crazy, but yeah.
Unless they've always been a little off the rocker. Another question we had was, how can more women get support in real life? Do you ever have meetups, or would you be open to organizing something like that?
God, yes, 1,000%. Please reach out. I'm going to knock my microphone over. Yes, let's reach out. Let's talk about it. Let's have mom's nights out, women's nights out, whatever. Let's do it. Every time I'm in a social situation and women find out what I'm doing, I'm pulled to a corner and they're desperate to tell their story.
Yeah.
And they're desperate to not feel alone. And I'm 100% behind. Yes, let's do it.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, girl, we're going to throw an event. We're going to throw an event. We have to. We have to. Okay, let's see. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything.
And I will take all the questions.
Gremlins, you heard it here. She's going to answer them for you.
I will take all the questions. I am not afraid to talk about anything. I mean, I have notes about things in here that we haven't even touched on. I mean, there is a lot.
Wow.
And one of the things that I personally have worked really, really hard on over the past couple of years, and I think that this is something else that women don't talk about, is urinary incontinence.
Oh.
And it doesn't have anything to do with how many babies you've had. Okay. That once you lose your estrogen, everything gets thinner, everything gets weaker, everything starts to get smaller, and maybe, I don't want to use the word shrivel up, but it can.
Yeah.
And there are things that you can do to help prevent that. There are pelvic floor exercises that you should be doing now. I'm breaking one of my cardinal rules right now, sitting here with my legs crossed, because we really shouldn't be sitting with our legs crossed.
Really?
It really twists up those muscles in a way that makes you feel tight all the time.
Wow.
And so I took a really expensive course, and I'm not certified, but I do feel really comfortable in talking about all of the things that I learned. And I came from, too much information, but I came from a point in time where I had to wear a poise pad every single day, all day long, never leave the house without it. And I no longer do that.
Wow. And you contribute that to the pelvic exercises.
And the things, yes, absolutely. And there's a couple of different types of urinary incontinence. There's the kind with the coughing, sneezing, lifting, doing something strenuous, and that's called stress incontinence.
Okay.
And then there's also urge incontinence. So that incontinence that we get when we pull in the driveway or start to put the key in the door, and you go from feeling like you slightly need to go to the bathroom to, I don't think I'm going to make it to the bathroom.
Wow.
And that is a mental thing. And that takes a lot of behavioral health therapy, a lot of thinking through. There's a lot of talking through with that one. Wow. But that's something I've worked on for myself for a really long time. And so I'd be happy to talk to anybody who's going through that stuff too, because that's something that we also don't talk about. And it's right in line with perimenopause, menopause, it all goes together.
Since we're already getting TMI, I'm going to ask another listener question. A woman asked, why does sex hurt for me?
She needs some vaginal estrogen.
Vaginal estrogen?
Yes, vaginal estrogen.
Okay.
And it's not, you can take that on top of any estrogen patch that you're already taking, or if you're taking the estrogen pill. You can, so it's localized.
Okay.
And it helps kind of plump everything back up and strengthen everything up. Back there.
Okay.
Because like I said, when you've lost that estrogen, everything gets thinner, everything gets weaker, things starts to shrivel up a little bit. So when you start using that vaginal estrogen, and you have to use it regularly, you have to do it. So it's usually your provider will tell you that you start out for 14 days, you use it every day.
Okay.
And then you use it 2 to 3 times a week as needed. You must use it 2 to 3 times a week. Wow. Trust me, I've tested it.
You're like, I've been there.
Been there.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking about providers a good bit. Have you noticed that people who come to you, women, even like young girls, like if you're talking to your daughter, when you're looking for a provider, do you think it's important for them to be a woman? Or do you think that there are men that are able to... For me, I feel like it would be hard to understand completely and take their word.
So, yeah. So... I'm sure that there are male doctors out there that know a lot of stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
But you haven't felt it. You haven't gone through it. I personally feel more comfortable talking to a woman. Again, I know, and I've talked to clients that have male providers, and they love them.
Okay.
And it's just who you're comfortable with,
right?
And how knowledgeable they are, and how much time they've put into really learning this stuff,
Totally.
Because they weren't taught. And we can go into all the history of, what happened with the Women's Health Initiative and why education about perimenopause and menopause went out the door in medical school. We could dive really deep into that. But I think that one of the things, for me, I feel really fortunate to live in a time where there is social media and there is a lot of talk about it, because 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it wasn't there for my mom.
Yeah. It wasn't there for so many people. And I think like that older generation, it was almost shameful, I guess, to talk about not being yourself, like how you thought you were. Yeah.
And
then you morph into this other person because that's what people
you're just
expect
afraid
you to.
to tell anybody.
Right.
You don't feel like yourself. Well, what the hell does that mean?
Exactly.
I don't feel like myself, and I wake up and I look at myself and I don't recognize myself, and I've gained weight and I'm pissed off about that. And I'm tired all the time and I'm pissed off about that, and I'm not sleeping at night. And then all of those things kind of snowball into bigger things. And it's not always recognized that this has started from a hormonal shift that we're going through.
Now, there's another question I have. If the medical marijuana will help with menopause, perimenopause symptoms, Have you had any experience with that? Have you chatted with people going down that route?
I believe that. And I'm not ashamed to say that I much prefer THC drinks to alcohol because my body doesn't metabolize alcohol the way it used to. Now, I did find a supplement. It's called glutathione. I'll give you some free info there. Glutathione helps your liver detox. That has helped me tolerate. I got to a point where I couldn't even drink one drink. Like a sip would make me feel sick.
Wow.
And so I just was totally off it for a while. And then I started seeing these commercials for glutathione. And I knew I was going on a family vacation that was going to include alcohol. And so I was like, let me just try it.
Yeah.
Because not every state allows you to have THC beverages.
That is very true.
And so I wanted to make sure that I was prepared. And so I started taking the glutathione about a week before the vacation, and it really helped.
Wow.
Now, I'm not out there partying like I was when I was in my 20s and 30s, but I can have a few drinks.
Right. Okay.
I do think that women are going to dispensaries because maybe they are having that alcohol aversion.
Yeah. I think that could be a big cause of it.
We're feeling like we're not, and it messes with your sleep. It fucks with your sleep, and then you wake up in the morning feeling like you've been hit by a truck, even if you've just had a couple.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the THC is a nice alternative. There are CBD drinks that are nice alternatives. There are adaptogenic drinks, the ones that have mushrooms in them, that are nice alternatives.
Interesting.
And the nice thing about those beverages is I would be a paid spokesperson if anybody wanted me to.
I have a couple brands in mind, actually, so I will pass them along.
They have a lot less calories than alcohol.
I've noticed that.
They have a lot less calories, and I don't feel hungover at all.
Especially with like the CBD
And the gummies.
creams. Oh, yes, and the gummies.
The gummies.
The gummy game has just changed things so much for people.
Yeah.
So much for people.
And it's just a nice little lift. Like, you just don't feel the same. You don't get out of control like you do with alcohol. Or, sometimes you have a light little gummy and then you just have one beverage when you're out instead of four.
I like that you're normalizing this too, like the THC and like not having so much of a stigma against it. Because there are a lot of women who think, oh, that's the devil's drug.
Yeah,
like,
if I turned you off, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah. No, that's the way it is. Yeah. Because, I mean, everyone's desperate to find something in some sort of way to help them.
Right.
And if that's it for you, no shame.
Right. No shame.
Now, I want to end with you telling the audience. So feel free to look in that camera, talk to them one-on-one. What do you want them to get out of if they don't get anything else out of this episode? What do you want them to get out of it?
The one thing that I want you to know is you're not alone. You're not broken. You're not crazy. And education is power. You must arm yourself with education. And I mean, we didn't even touch on things like going in and talking to your provider. Go in with the stats. As soon as you start feeling off, as soon as you start not sleeping, as soon as you start feeling irrational, having anxiety, whatever it might be, keep a log. Talk about how long it's lasting, how many days a week it's affecting you, how it's impacting your day-to-day life, how it's impacting your relationships, your work, whatever it might be. Go in with the statistics and say, here you go. Because going in and just saying, I don't feel like myself to your provider is not going to be enough. And if you have a provider who is offering you something, that's great, but ask why. Ask why they're offering you this over something else. What are the side effects? When can I expect to feel better? All the things. And if you need help with that, please reach out to me.
And where can people find you?
People can find me at Pausing It on Facebook, Pausing It 2025 on Instagram. My email is pausingit2025@gmail.com.
And all of this information will be at the link in the bio, in the description, and on my page as well. Thank you so much for being on the show.
I'm not great at social media, so I don't remember all the things. And I do have a TikTok that I just started, but it still has my name, Sheila Milan. I think it's Sheila.Milan too.
You also have the coolest name, by the way. Like, it sounds like a 1990s like pop singer, and I love it.
Thanks.
That's Sheila Milan. She's coming to you live.
Thanks. I always wanted to be a pop star.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. And I want to come back because we have
so much more to talk about.
I think that once we talk about this and it gets out there, I think there'll be more questions.
Oh, yeah. I can hear my inbox flooding already.
Awesome. Awesome.